Good morning, everyone. Welcome to another Rookie Card Collector 123 video. In today's episode, we're going to continue our look at the National Baseball Hall of Famers and the true rookie cards for each of them. We've been working backwards in alphabetical order. We began with players' last names ending in Y, and we're currently at the letter C. So we're nearing the home stretch. We have not too many more episodes left in this series, and we're going to have covered everybody. But today we're going to start off with New York Yankees center field great Earl Combs. Combs began his career in the mid-1920s. And like many of the players who had cards from that era, besides the strip cards, some of which are not always all that attractive, the other major card issue from that time frame was the exhibits. The exhibits were the postcard size issues. They came from the penny arcade vending machines. You would put a coin in the slot, you turn the dial, and a card would come out of the bottom. You did not know which player card was going to come out next. And the Exhibit Supply Company produced these. They were out of Chicago. And they would be putting card sets out beginning in 1921. And that would actually run all the way through the mid-1960s. 1966 was the last year that they formally released any cards. So Earl Combs, true rookie card, as I said, Yankee center fielder. His rookie appears in the 1926 exhibit card series, and that's pictured here. Combs also, this card is quite rare in itself. I believe population numbers are probably somewhere in the 10 to 20 range total, maybe even less than that. He does have an even rarer rookie card, sort of not exactly a card, but it's called the 1926 New York Yankee cutouts. Basically, they're die-cut cards, very similar to the 1910 E125 American Caramels. And the set included Lou Gehrig, and I believe, I haven't seen a Babe Ruth, but I believe Babe Ruth is in the set as well. And Combs appears in there. Those are probably only a couple known, so much tougher than this 26 exhibit that I'm showing you here. Next to Combs, we've got Jimmy Collins. Collins is one of those guys that spanned not only the early 20th century, but also began playing in the late 1890s. So he goes back to 19th century. And the Jimmy Collins true rookie would be from the W600 Sporting Life set. Those were the cabinet cards. They measure about 6 inches by about 8.5 inches or so. They were produced in 4 different releases, type known as Type 1, 2, 3, and 4. The Type 1s began released in 1902. The Type 4s were released in 1906. And all of these were produced up through 1911, was the last year for the Sporting Life cabinets to be sold. And Collins appears in this one with the Boston American League Club. I believe they were called the Boston Americans at that point. Next one up is one of the biggest baseball Hall of Fame rookie cards that there is. This one is Ty Cobb. Ty Cobb rookie card appears in 1907. He had multiple issues in 1907. There's 3 different Detroit Tiger postcard series that included individual Cobb cards. This one is the Deitch Detroit Tigers postcard. These came out first in 1907, and then they were released. The Tigers won 3 consecutive World Series, and they were released subsequently in 1908 and or 1909. So the earlier Cobb has a copyright on the back of 1907. That was the first Cobb release. He also appears in a Another Deech pose is a fielding pose, which is much rarer to find than this one, the batting. And there's also a third Deech Cobb postcard, which is the exact same image as this one, except in between his legs and in the dirt here in the batter's box, there's a stenciled in white. His name is written Cobb, Cobb. Those are also much scarcer than the batting Deech here. In addition to the Deech Cobb postcards, there's also a H.M. Taylor, which is a horizontal Cobb postcard, also 1907 to 09, and a Wolverine News postcard series of Tigers, which Cobb is also included. The Wolverine News has a portrait and also a fielding pose in that one as well. Cobb was also released in the W600 Sporting Life, the same series that we just looked at for Jimmy Collins. He was in there. His card first came out in 1907 as well. So that's another rookie option for Cobb. Probably considered the premier rookie option for Cobb, but also a super high value card at this point, probably a six-figure card if one of those came up for sale today in decent condition. Next up, we have Roberto Clemente. Obviously, Pittsburgh Pirates right field great. And he's in the mainstream 1955 Topps would be his true rookie card. It's one of those horizontal cards with a beautiful portrait of Clemente and then a smaller batting pose alongside the portrait. There's a second Clemente rookie, which is debated by some, but he appeared in one of the J.D. McCarthy postcard sets from the 50s. He actually appeared in a couple of different ones, but there's one that's been attributed specifically to 1955, which would match the 55 Topps rookie year. And that one is considered by some to also be an alternative Roberto Clemente rookie. Okay, next to that, we've got a John Clarkson. Let's see. That's the best way to show this one. Okay, Clarkson appears in the 1887 to 1890 Old Judge series. Hall of Fame pitcher. He's with the Chicago White Sox at this point. And Clarkson, like many of the old Judge Hall of Famers, has numerous variations and different poses within the old Judge set. He also appears in a few other baseball card issues from that same era. Buckner Gold Coin, and a couple of others. And next to Clarkson, we've got another W600, similar to the Jimmy Collins. This is Fred Clark. Clark was the team captain, outfielder, and then eventually manager for the Pittsburgh Pirates during the first decade of the 20th century, 1900 to 1910. And he pictured here on this Type 1 W600 Sporting Life cabinet. The Type 1s can be differentiated from the later types by the Sporting Life logo, which is on the bottom of the cabinet there, with the image of Clark and then the name and team designation under it. The Sporting Life cabinets tend to be population somewhere in the 10 range, a little less than 10, a little more than 10, but very rare, very tough to find, and Hall of Famers usually command pretty high prices. I kind of skipped a couple on the previous page, so I'm going to go back to those now. We've got Mickey Cochran, Hall of Fame catching great. He kind of split his career just about down the middle between the Philadelphia Athletics during the mid and late 1920s to the early 30s, and then he went to Detroit and spent the rest of his career with the Tigers, winning an American League Most Valuable Player award with the Tigers in the mid-30s. when they won the World Series. Cochran's True Rookie is this 1926 to 29 postcard back exhibit. These came in not only postcard back, but also blank back as well, and they came in various different colors, different tints. There's a yellowish, greenish, a gray, a pink, I believe. They all came in various colors. Cochran also had another rookie produced in 26 as well. That was the Spalding or Champions of Baseball issue. They were smaller cards, black and white image as well. And that one, again, also tough to find, but tougher than these postcard back exhibits. These aren't too bad. Populations on these are probably somewhere in the 20 to 50 kind of range for a lot of these players. Next to him, we've got a extremely rare rookie card to try to track down. This is Eddie Collins. Collins appears in another W600 Sporting Life cabinet. The first year release for Collins was the Type 4, which was the 1906 issue. So that was the final version of the Sporting Life cabinets. And I believe, to the best of my knowledge, there's only 3 W600 Eddie Collins cards known to exist. I know one of them has a big chunk of missing from one of the corners. I know one of them is nice, and the third one I have never seen, so I'm not sure. So extremely rare Eddie Collins from 1907. One of the toughest W600 Hall of Famers to acquire, because his release only came in 1907. So his only ran from 07 to 11. Many of the players from here started being released in 1902, so big difference in terms of how long the cards were being distributed. Okay, next one we're going to look at is one of the more modern mainstream cards. This is Nestor Chilak, Hall of Fame umpire. And his rookie would be the 1955 Bowman, one of those color TV set cards that includes several Hall of Fame umpires, in addition to Chilak. And next to Chilak, we've got another W600 Sporting Life cabinet. This one is Jack Chesbro. Chesbro was best known for being the last 40-game winner in Major League Baseball with the New York Yankees. I believe it was 1904. Here he's pictured in his very first card release with the Pittsburgh Pirates in a formal attire pose. And this is a Type 1 Sporting Life cabinet from the first year, 1902. Okay, next up we've got, see if we can get a good image. This is Oscar Charleston, Negro League great, probably the best all-around Negro League player. Not necessarily a two-way player, he never pitched, but the best all-around as far as hitting, defense, base running, and batting and average. Charleston probably #1 all time in Negro League Baseball. Charleston had 2 different 1923-24 rookie cards. This one is probably the more popular one, maybe, out of the 2. This is from the Beacon set, which was a tobacco company in Cuba. These are real photographs that were taken with the player's name underneath, and then the back of it had some bio information, some Beacon tobacco advertising, everything in Spanish on the back. And Charleston, recently in auction over the past year or 2, Oscar Charleston cards from the season have sold for, I believe, $180,000. One of them sold for, and the other one sold for like $240,000. So really valuable cards. He also appears in the 1923-24 Tomas Gutierrez set as well. And also similar value on those. Those would be 6-figure cards today when those come up for auction as well. And next to Charleston, we have Albert Happy Chandler. Chandler was the commissioner of baseball after Kennesaw Mountain Landis passed away in the early 1940s. Chandler took over, and he was actually commissioner when Jackie Robinson integrated Major League Baseball in 1947. And his rookie card appears in the 1950 Callahan Hall of Fame black and white series. These are little small cards. Trying to think of the size to compare it to. A little bigger than the caramel and tobacco cards from that era, but kind of similar. And Chandler was produced late in that series. I believe he was produced in 55 or 56. This was a set that was released from 50 to 56. So his card was considered like a short print because it was only released the last year or two that these cards were produced by the Hall of Fame. So a much tougher card to find than many of the early great players like Cobb and Wagner and Ruth and Mathewson and guys like that. Okay, next up we've got yet another W600 Sporting Life Cabinet rookie card. This one is for Frank Chance. Chance, of course, the first baseman for the Chicago Cubs at the turn of the century, and part of the famous Tinkers to Evers to Chance double play combination. And Chance's rookie is, again, the Type 1 W600 from 1902, the very first year. And you can tell that not only by the logo on the bottom from the Sporting Life, but also the formal attire that Chance is pictured in as opposed to his playing days uniform. Another really tough card to look for. Okay, next one we're going to look at is Henry Chadwick. Chadwick was never a player. He's in the Hall of Fame as an executive / pioneer. And really the pioneer role, as he was responsible for a lot of the modern day scoring of baseball games, as it is in the score books and different things like that. Also, some of the documentation as far as statistics and the creation of magazines like the Spalding and the Reach baseball guides back in the late 1800s. Chadwick had an important role in those as well. And his rookie card is going to be the 1939 to 43 Hall of Fame sepia postcards. That was the very first postcard series put out by the Hall of Fame in Cooperstown. They were a sepia color, and they would predate all the other types which were produced over the years. Today's modern Hall of Fame postcards are in a bright yellow. These would have been a sepia background color. And again, 39 to 43. These are very tough to find. Population numbers on these are probably in the 20 or so range, something like that. Okay, next up we've got a more modern mainstream rookie. We've got Orlando Cepeda, 1958 Topps, and bright, colorful card there. One of the nicer 1950s Topps rookies. And next to Cepeda, the last Hall of Famer we're going to cover today is Alexander Cartwright. And Cartwright comes from the same set as the Henry Chadwick. Cartwright was one of the original New York Knickerbockers, given a lot of credit for many of the rules of baseball that were created back in the 1840s, 1850s. A lot of that credit has been attributed to Alexander Cartwright, and he's in the Hall of Fame as a pioneer, as well as Chadwick. His rookie is also the 39 to 43 Sepia Hall of Fame postcard set. So that's going to wrap up today's episode on the Baseball Hall of Famers. We got to look at another 16 true rookie cards. I hope you enjoyed the episode. Have a great day, and we'll catch you guys again on the next one.